Hey, I'm Chris Hanson. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm seeking to help other people start their own businesses. I'm building a community called the One Network, which is going to be the foremost place for entrepreneurs on the internet. I know a lot of people say that, and they're building courses, but I'm truly driven and intense about this, and I really want to help other people start their own businesses, start being successful, and making money. It's not a course offer. It is not a info product. This is an active thing that we're going to build an app around, and it's going to be automated with AI to encourage you and help you to start your own business. I want to get into kind of a little bit of my background, and hopefully this will serve as some of the content and the kind of information for the One Network and stuff in the past to explain what I'm trying to do in the ethos of the community we're trying to create versus all of the other startup and entrepreneur agency SaaS communities and influencers out there. I'm a guy, I've always been an eccentric guy that's been into different things. I've been into building organizations. When I was in high school, I was big into building bands and building different clubs and things like that. But I wasn't necessarily a book smart guy. I did go to an Ivy League university, but I wasn't somebody who was succeeding very well in that school environment. And when the end of college came around and I had to look for a job, I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to work for somebody. I wanted to be in an exciting environment. I wanted to achieve something large and build that freedom for myself. I think a lot of people, Gen Z, millennials, have that type of same drive today, and they just don't want to be participating in this corporate environment. Or maybe they just have ideas that they want to pursue and see out. The beauty of the internet and everything is it gives us all the ability to learn skills that are relevant to pursue our own business and see other people who are starting small businesses and online businesses and really imitate what they're doing to try to see success. And that's one of the great things about my path to entrepreneurship, and I think path to entrepreneurship for everybody else. So in any case, I had done some just different freelance hustle things while I was in college, helping people with technology. I wrote another video about that kind of segment. Little e-com stuff, trying to sell and create different things, just make a little cash on the side. But in any case, the kind of real start that I got was when I was in 2015. I started a edtech company with my friends called Eager, which we eventually sold. Not for a lot of money, but we did sell it. It was essentially a product to help incentivize education for basically kids who are in struggling scenarios or have learning disabilities. And we were incentivizing them by essentially gamification of the kind of education process, taking learning management system data, doing some other things to kind of project student outcomes. This actually wasn't my idea. I started as a seed from a friend, and then I started throwing in ideas based on my own educational circumstances, gamification, etc. Typical startup, watching kind of Silicon Valley, like TV show, stuff like that, thinking about lean startup, reading. And I just got really immersed in it and building it with this group of friends that I'd had for, 10 plus years since high school. We built it out. We got different people involved at my university, Penn, and we're involved in a couple accelerators there. We were really just following the playbook from the typical kind of tech startup model. Obviously, being in college, the revenue situation, while I was spending all my time trying to build and validate this idea, I wasn't super heavily focused on sales or anything like that. I figured out different ways to use technology to get my means. So talking to thousands of teachers, talk to some of the biggest charter schools in the country, just getting their feedback to develop the product. 2 or 3 years of focusing on this. A lot of time spent on product development, which is something that I wasn't familiar with, and it's very difficult. And we ended up not going through the official launch and basically just selling. So that was my first real L, but the beauty of it was the last year that I was doing it in New York, I had started doing freelancing for tech companies, and that very quickly developed into a thriving agency called Hanson Partners. And so I basically, to get into the nitty-gritty of it, when I graduated from college in 17, I came home to my parents' place, and I basically didn't want to spend any time just lounging around and not working, so I immediately went out, got the smallest office I could find on 28th Street, like in a crappy old school building. It looked like it was a hostel, basically. I set up shop there, threw out my computer equipment, and I just started going hardcore on Craigslist, Upwork, finding different people, and I'm going to essentially funnel that into this new company that I created, built out a website for Hanson Partners, And I was just basing it off of freelance stuff I did in the past, like building websites, WordPress. And then we were going to work with the companies and figure out what else they needed in terms of helping them make money. I was giving myself an education in sales in doing this because I was talking to so many random people doing bullshit on Craigslist every day. But I ended up doing that. I got involved as a partner, as you do, talking to other entrepreneurs in several different businesses. I really liked that part of it. So just dealing with the different businesses and conversing with the different owners. So I got involved with a couple interesting businesses. Cuddlist was one of them, the professional cuddling company. And I just got involved like doing marketing at a high level for them. Eventually, the company Hanson Partners was able to scale up, and I had some ideas of investing in other companies doing fractional CMO work. So basically placing chief marketing officers with these kind of early stage tech companies. That developed into my agency, which I had now run for about 5-6 years, called You Don't Need a CMO. And that's when I got more traditional into business, started hiring, started trying to build products to sell, service packages, and really focused on one kind of thing rather than doing a bunch of different partnerships and different companies that I was involved with, and scaling that agency up, focusing on that business model and really just making that my life, managing employees, hiring, scaling the agency. And I've talked about that in other videos, and it's something I'm going to talk about more in the One Network. But long story short, we can get into more detail with that. I grew that company to about $1 million a year in revenue. Nothing too insane, but I had a lot of side businesses and other hustles that I was doing as a result of the profit that I brought in from that business. Was able to get out of that. And now I'm doing this One Network thing because throughout all these ventures, I really felt like the main sort of drive for me, or advantage, was just really helping other people overcome that initial sort of apprehension about starting a business. And I think that's the one area where I can compete better than anybody else who's in the space, or at least equally as good to the top tier people. I know for a fact that I can help people start businesses. I don't know if I can help them scale to become unicorns. I don't know that I can do some of the other things the gurus are complaining to do, turn your marriage around, etc., make you save all this money in the bank. But the one thing that I do know I can do is I can get you with a business figured out, all the steps that you need to start that, get it profitable enough where you could live a modest life off of it, and then your ambition and your idea takes it to the next level, or your ability to network. So that's what I'm doing now, and I'm going to get into more detail on that in the future. Please subscribe to the channels. I have basically no audience right now. I'm just posting like a fiend, like some of these other guys. I'm coming in late. I was afraid to get in front of the camera, but now I'm just like posting like a fiend on all these platforms. I think it's highly valuable content, and eventually people will appreciate that. But anything you can do, like, comment, subscribe, I will repay you back in spades in terms of my knowledge and expertise.
You meet somebody wealthy, their family at one point was not wealthy, and then the one shows up. The one. One person changes the family tree forever. In my family, I'm the one.